All right, guys, welcome back to Commission Reviews. How are you? How are you? If you are seeing this in the morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever you are checking this out, we got Brian, aka it's Brittany, bitch, up in this piece. Not like it's you know what I mean by the song and the act, not the person.
Hey, no explanation needed. We all good.
Okay. I want to be like let me correct that because it's just the same when people say it's Brittany. They always say that. But anyway, first of all, thank you for coming to my platform. I tell everyone this. Your time is important to me, and you chose to use some of your time to come to my platform, so I do appreciate it 100%. And welcome to Commission Reviews. How are you today?
I'm excellent. And again, I want to thank you very much for inviting me because I've seen your work. You are excellent. I love what you do.
Oh
So
wow.
it's an honor and a privilege to come on this show.
I appreciate that. Wow, I love hearing that type of stuff because I don't try to break myself. When people say it, I take it to heart. It's really important to me. So let's go ahead and jump right in this. And this is a question I do ask because you did come in as a catfish. Why do you not come in as yourself? Because I feel like they would have loved you as yourself. Like even when you was leaving out, there was like, what? So what made you not do yourself and come in somebody else?
So everyone has brought this up to me
Mhm.
since the show has aired. Like, hey, why didn't you come in as yourself? We love you. If you would have just been your authentic self, you could have made it to the end. And there's a couple of things that come into play. And one of those is first things first. You got to get on the circle, okay? You got to
Okay.
get on the circle. So you have to separate yourself from the thousands and thousands of people who submit their
Mm,
applications. And then I don't want to get into much of the production side of it,
right,
but
right.
as you can see, this season is the circle singles, okay? And so me
Okay.
coming in as a 47-year-old grandpa in the circle singles with a bunch of 20-year-olds, like I don't know how well that would have played.
Mm,
Because I feel it's a little bit different, when you come in as an older man and then there's 20-year-old women in
right.
there, and it's just like, that doesn't seem right. Like I feel that it's like Jen can come in and that's more acceptable. I feel that like, oh, it's a cougar, that's fun. But for the
Or
grandpa
auntie.
not
Yeah.
have been, and I probably wouldn't have been as comfortable coming in myself, with the singles because I just applied for the circle. Okay, I
Okay.
applied for the circle, and then
Mhm.
you saw in that first episode, I was like, wait a second, everybody in here is single. So they didn't hit us with that until we were in there. So we had first discovered that it was single. So
Oh.
whenever I first, decided to go on the circle, I was like, well, I can go on as myself. I can go in as, my fiance Amber, or I can go in as Brittany, my daughter. And, when I told them about the idea of coming in as Brittany as my daughter, they just jumped at it. They were like, oh my God, that's great. And it's never been done before. So, it's hard to get through the circle and win the circle, but it's real hard to get on the circle. So, to
Mm.
me, to differentiate myself with everyone else, I feel that that gave me the best chance to get on the show as being my daughter.
But did you find it difficult being your daughter because of all the things, the different hashtags, whatever they were talking about, just things that you may not know? Because we're the same age, and I only know about this stuff because I'm a blogger and I'm on social media. But if I wasn't, half the stuff I wouldn't know about, to be honest. So, do you think that made it harder for you to relate?
It made it exponentially harder for me to relate. When you're sitting on your couch and you're watching the circle, you can come up with all kinds of brilliant ideas. You have the best game in the world. My couch at home circle game is elite. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody beat me up. I'm winning every single season. But once you walk into that circle house and you see how difficult it is, you quickly realize that it's very difficult. And you add on top of that you're playing a 27-year-old girl, and that makes it even harder. But then you add into the fact that you're playing your daughter. You know what I'm saying? You're putting your
Mm,
daughter's name and
yeah.
image out there along with your granddaughter. And I'm on Twitter, you're on Twitter. We know the stuff that people say.
Yes.
So you have that in the back of your head. Like the first things first, I gotta protect my daughter. Because I had to get Brittany on board with coming on here. And
Okay.
the last thing she said to me before I went on, she was like, "Hey, Dad, I trust you. You know what I'm saying? I trust you to do this right." And so that to me is a huge responsibility. And
Yeah.
so that is more important than winning any money. It's
I
having her
love it.
approval and having, seeing me in a good light and doing it right. And so, having that weight on my shoulders, once you get in there, it is huge because this is going out to the world. And
Yep.
so I wanted to make sure
Hmm.
that I did it right, but it made it so much harder being a girl and being Brittany, because those chats come in fast and furious. And as you
Yes,
can
I
see,
saw.
they are coming in hot. I mean, you
Mm.
saw Chaz's energy. I mean, he's like, bam, bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam. Hold up, wait a second, slow down. Like I'm old. Like a couple of times I saw myself on there, and I remember
Oh Jesus.
the kitchen. You're pretty far away from the screens, and it's hard to see. Like I don't have the best vision,
Okay.
so I was just like, because you have to read what you write down, and so I was
Right.
like, oh, I remember seeing it back. I was having a hard time, so it was definitely difficult relating, harder than I realized, because you have a game plan, but then you get in there and your game plan blows up because you realize it's so much harder to relate as a girl. So that was definitely harder than I realized it was going to be.
Wow. That's insightful. I really didn't think of it that way. I probably would have struggled with some things also. So you say getting on the show was a bit difficult. What made you even decide to go on the circle?
So it's funny because it first started in the pandemic. It was a pandemic hit because it was
It was.
relatable, because
Hmm.
you're in your apartment, you're alone, you're talking to your screen, there's no one else there, and so we fell in love with it the first couple of episodes. And so, sitting on the couch one day, Amber was like, "Hey, you'll be good at this." I'm like, "You know what? I would be
Mm-hmm.
good at this," but you say that about a lot of things. You don't
Hmm.
actually expect it to happen. So one day, I decided to go ahead and just try and do it. I just was like, I'm going to go to the casting website. I'm going to sit in this couch right here, put my ring light on, and just put a video out there and just throw it out there. And then 2 months later, they called and said, "Hey, we're interested," and the rest is history. And I felt that it's a little different for me because I'm not a person that has a lot of followers. I'm not a person that they're trying to recruit. I'm
Right.
trying to get on the show. And so, and that's another reason I wanted to be Brittany, because I wanted to separate myself. Because, you have
Mm,
a bunch of
right.
youth like me. What do I bring to the table that's different than everyone else? Just like any job, like, what are you going to give to this job that's different than everyone else? Like, why should I bring you into here? And so that's one of the reasons I went as Brittany. But, there were a lot of different interviews, a lot of different things, and it went on a long time. So there was a lot of pressure just to get on the show. But it was a great process. All the producers were amazing.
I really love the way Netflix has diversity in this reality TV. It's a lot, even though you come in as a catfish, whatever you want to be, whatever. The diversity and the inclusion of this series is really awesome. I love it. I really do. I mean, there was a lot of hashtag Melanie popping because it was, even though you was, Brittany, it still was that. So I'm gonna ask you, once you got the, I guess, yeah, I'm going to the circle. Did you get any negative responses from friends or family, maybe outside of your core family? Because it sounds like your family supported you. Did you get any negative comments?
So when I told them, so I didn't tell anybody
Yes.
outside of
Oh,
my
you did not.
circle. No, no, because
Okay.
they tell you, it's like, don't tell anybody, don't put it on social media,
Mm,
keep your core, because that could affect your chances of getting on the show. So I kept it in my inner circle.
okay.
Now afterwards, now that I've been on there, no one has given me any type of negative feedback whatsoever. Everyone has been super supportive. My coworkers, my just extended family who found out, my friends, old college buddies, everyone's been super supportive. There's not been one person that has seen the show that has said anything negative
Wow.
about my participation. And especially after they see, now they may say I'm not very good at being on this. My gameplay
Oh
has,
no.
hey, I'm very self-aware, okay?
Right.
After watching it back and being in the circle, I'm very self-aware that I know my gameplay could have been better. But that's the only thing. And it's all in, good fun when they say it, because they know it's very difficult, to be on a show. So it's been all love from everyone that I know.
And see, I say this all the time because even though I'm a blogger and I do these things, I said that one day I'm gonna get on the circle, and I wonder how I would act. Because even though I asked you guys these questions, I'm like, I wonder if I ever got called to the circle, Lord Jesus, how would I handle it? Who would I go in as myself? So I know you guys. It's a difficult decision to choose going
Mhm.
as yourself or as somebody else, and your gameplay. There's yes, Twitter was a buzz about that. What do you feel like you would have changed in your gameplay if you had the opportunity to go back or whatever? Because they were dragging your game. Real talk,
Yeah,
they were.
that's a really good question because in the game you don't know how people are really reacting to what you're giving them because it's kind of like a boxing match when you first start out and where I was in the first few episodes, everybody's kind of feeling each other out,
Yeah.
kind of just not really coming in too hot and being an investigator, what I wanted to do and being a reality TV fan in general, I watch all the shows, I've learned that my strategy was just to come in, not hot, don't
Hmm.
be too, much in the chats, and just kind of get information, but not give too much information. And now that I realize that I held back too much because in the group chats, when we're having those group chats, you really don't know anybody. Like before that first blocking happened, we had a second to really get to know each other, but we didn't really know where anyone stand. We had a couple of conversations here and there, but not enough to really solidify a really strong bond. And so during those first couple conversations, like that, me, Chaz, and Sam had, where he was saying, "Brittany, you're not giving me enough," and I
Hmm.
was saying, "I'm not giving you anything because I don't know you, Chaz. I don't know what you're about." And that's the kind of strategy I had to begin with. And so I would change and I would give a little bit more as far as my personality, but
Hmm.
it's so hard because you think that you're giving them good stuff and what they're giving back to you was all hashtags and rainbows and sunshine. They're not telling you, you saw when Chaz was talking to me, he was, it was all good. But
Yeah.
in his own personal apartment, he was saying, "Hey, you're not giving me enough." Now, if he would have said, "Hey, Brittany," in the chats that we were having, "Hey, you need to give me more. You're not giving me enough," I would have been like, "Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I could have come up with a reason as to why." But I didn't know that at the time. And so you saw a different version of Chaz I did, when he was talking
Right.
to me, but he wasn't giving me that. So that was the most difficult part. So I would have given more of my personality, kind of open up more. But to me, in my strategy, in my watching, all the big shows, giving too much too early is can get you in trouble. But I would give a little more because the circle is different in comparison to
It is
brother.
because they can't see you, so you have to go on what you know. So speaking of Big Brother,
Mhm.
someone says you look like somebody. Who is that?
Oh man. I, oh man, I sent a tweet and it kind of blew up. And I don't know. I made a joke and I said, they should have tapped me in for DJ Showtime in Big Brother, because he's gotten some negative feedback, and I'm not going to get too much into
Yeah,
that.
you
But
don't. Yeah, no worries
I
there.
feel I felt at the time, and I still feel that I would have done an amazing job in Big Brother because I could see your reaction to what I'm telling you real time. I could see
Hmm.
I could read the body language. I can see who's making direct eye contact with me. I can see who's acting funny. I can see who's talking to who. Because in the circle,
Right.
it's not like you can, talk unlimited and have these big powwows with everybody in group chats. So it's like you can't do that. It's not like we're having fireside chats through the night. It's very limited. In Big Brother, I would have been able to see and read body language and hear things that are happening and act accordingly. So it was exponentially more difficult, being in the circle house than as opposed to a Big Brother house where you can see everybody and get that information. But but listen, I can't really say how I would have acted if I was in the Big Brother house, but I can tell you that things would have been different in that
Oh.
house had
Hmm.
I been in there. Let's just leave it at
That's enough because I covered that for the entire summer, and there's a lot of anger that came out of my mouth. I'll just leave that there.
that.
Yeah, it was. But if you were to have gone on there, you would have been dad. I don't have to know you to just by the way you talk about your family and the way you represent yourself on the show. and even just our conversations outside of this, you'd have been dad, you'd have been uncle, protector. I just know it. Taylor would have probably loved you. I'm gonna say that. Okay. I would love for y'all to connect because Taylor is everything. I love her. She's awesome. So I do. I hope. Okay. Is there? Let me see if I can say this. Are you gonna try to go on Big Brother? Because I tweeted it. I did. I retweeted and I said, "Baby, I would have loved for this to happen." I did.
Hey, all I gotta say is expect the unexpected. You know, I've been a Big Brother fan since day one. Since day
Mm-hmm.
one, Survivor, Big Brother. I watched
Mm-hmm.
all of those shows,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I kind of formulated my strategy going into the Circle House. And so, you know,
Mm.
so I kind of formulate, but that doesn't really translate that much because you don't have, like I said, you don't have the opportunity to kind of see what people are saying because you know I have that skill as an investigator to read people and to kind of have those conversations to kind of weed some stuff out where you know you don't have that ability. But if approached, it would be hard to turn down because Big Brother is a dream of mine. I've been a fan since day one, and just the opportunity to go on there and just test my skills out. I mean, I would absolutely love that because I could be my genuine self without
Yes.
having to think about it. Because in the Circle House, being someone that you're not, you can't just say what comes out of your head. You have to think about it and then okay, is this something that a 27-year-old woman would say? And then you have to then say it out loud, and then you're second guessing yourself the whole time. As opposed to me being myself, I have full confidence in what I would say,
Mm-hmm.
especially to your face. You know, I
Right.
have no
Period.
problem saying stuff to your face. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. I think I would do a good job, but you know, you just never
I
know.
think you would as well. The way you played it, now that you broke it down that way, and I'm also, I'm a blogger, have watched Big Brother since the beginning, been blogging about it for the past for a long time. Have interviews cast from off the show, obviously, but the way you played the game in the circle was like Big Brother, and that's where I connect with that. Where I feel like you on Big Brother, you could have got to the end because the way you were playing was very strategic. It just wasn't made for the circle environment. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to kind of play like that. I think that if you were to go on Big Brother or any other reality show, I think you do a great job because you are an investigator and you were moving in a certain way. You weren't giving, like you said, you were giving, too much. The circles can't see you. They want more from you. So I mean, that was a little bit of a downfall there. But hey, it is what it is. Now that you sit back and you're watching the season,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on the drama? First of all, you left before the drama with Raven and Marvin. You also left when Jen came in and did a catfish and pretty much just, I don't know, she's just tearing the house up right now. Okay, now she's a secret this, da da da. Now, So how did you feel watching it at home? It's like, oh my God.
Things took a turn after Circle Dad left. Okay, things
Period.
took
Yes.
a turn, and went here and there, and that's what makes it
Mm-hmm.
so entertaining this year. You
Yes.
know, as we discussed before, we love the diversity on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Just Raven and everybody. I was very excited to see all of my people on there. It was great to be able to just be able to
Yes.
bond. I whenever I was in the circle, I was trying to start the barbecue. It was a little homage to the cookout, so I was like, but I can't really get into it. But I wanted to start the barbecue, and with me, you know, Raven, Marvin, Chaz, and I was going to call it the barbecue and have a group together to form and just make it to the end with the barbecue. But that wasn't able to be materialized. But is the hashtag barbecue. I had it on there. It was going to be an homage to the Big Brother cast.
The cookout.
The cookout. It was going to be the barbecue, and it was going to be all of us riding to the end because, you know, you really don't have that much time to formulate a plan. So you have to really act quick to form an alliance. And so
Mm-hmm.
you don't have the opportunity to have, you know, individual chats with everyone like you want, or just have like, you know, groups of people that you can talk to whenever you want to. And so I was going to do that. But as far as the drama that's happening now, so first
Wow.
of all, listen, you got to find you can only have one showmance, okay? You
Mm-hmm.
can only have one showmance, and you cannot go in there and have talk to one individual and say you're my queen, and then get a side queen.
Poor
Like
Marvin.
my God. And hey, he's a youngin. He's a kid. We
Very
all
young.
make mistakes. Hey, I ain't perfect. I made mistakes when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm older now, so I know better. But like
Yeah.
Marvin should have known better not to have try to get two circle queens. You cannot do that because receipts are kept, and especially with the individuals like Tamira and Raven. Like no, and just on a couple of levels strategy. Uh, you know, you got to have your number one. If that's your number one, you got to keep her your number one. And you can't
Yes.
go and just go on a date with someone else. And if you do, you got to be like, hey, you know what? Thank you for going on this date with me. But I have to tell you up front that I am with Raven. She is my number one. And this cannot go any further. Okay. Like I will go and talk to you. I will use this opportunity to build a relationship with you, but I am not going to take it any further. And I think that would have gone a long way with Tamira had he said that up front. But instead, he wasn't up front, and then it all blew up on him. So poor
It
guy,
did.
he's feeling it right now. He's feeling the heat because of the other stuff that happened. He's just feeling all kinds of heat. And so
Yes, he is.
but he's really a nice guy in real life. So
Yes, he looks like he's a nice guy, but everybody was mad at Marvin. Let's be clear. Everybody was upset. We needed the dad in there to say, Marvin, bro. No. I was like, where's the private chat of saying, Marvin? No, we need you there, Dad. I swear.
and if I would have been in there, and if I would have been myself,
Mm-hmm.
I would have took him and grabbed him and be like, hey man, listen, you
Listen
can't
up,
be
bro.
doing that. You got to not do that. Is the biggest mistake that you can make in the game, outside the game. If you're trying to get some, some brand sponsorships after,
Right.
that stays with you.
Oh boy.
That
Come on
perception
now.
of you, that like because people think that's who you are in real life, regardless of the edit. They're gonna come at you and be like, they'll see you in the
Yes.
airport, they'll see you in McDonald's,
Mm-hmm.
like Marvin, what you doing? I mean, reality TV or not. And so I definitely would have took him aside and been like, hey, you just can't do it.
Well, Marvin, like you said, Marvin will be okay. And I'm pretty sure you guys are looking out for him, with this and everything going on. And would you do anything else besides Big Brother? That's the only, because to me, I hope you get on there. But is that the only reality show you would do if an opportunity came about for you? Have you looked at anything else?
Well, I'm an avid traveler. I like to travel the world. That's what I do. So Amazing Race, I feel if I started jogging a little bit, hit the weight room because they be running on Amazing Race.
They
They make me
do.
tired. Amazing Race is another show I would definitely be on. That's a lot of fun. And Big Brother, I would definitely be on. There's a lot of reality TV shows that are coming out right now. And so there's always these new shows that are kind of fresh, like Traders, things of that nature.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it would be fun to go on one of those established shows, but it would also
Mhm.
be fun to try something different because
Yeah,
you
okay.
never know what's going to be one of those, breakaway hits,
Yes.
like some of the new shows that are coming out. And so, you never want to close the door on anything, but it would have to be something that is really that I would fit in well with, and that's something that I would want to do because I don't want to put myself in something that would put me in a bad light.
Right.
You know what I'm
Of course.
saying? So because my brand and just my who I am as a person, I don't want any kind of negative light to come towards me. And I was very cognizant of that. And whenever I was on the show, just like that time when I sent in that photo when they were like, hey, send in a wild photo in that one episode where everyone was sending in photos. And hey, ain't nothing wrong with sending a photo of you in a bikini. Ain't nothing wrong with sending a photo of you in a short dress. I love it. Body positivity. I love
Right.
it. But I was not, and I repeat, I was not going to send a wild photo of my daughter in that group chat for $100,000 or $1,000,000 or $20
Mm.
million,
Respect.
especially now that you see Marvin.
Yeah.
No. And I love my
Ain't no telling what would happen. Yes.
and so
Respect.
all the photos that Brittany that sent in, like Brittany approved all the photos, and none of
Okay.
them were really racy or anything like that.
Right.
This is not who she is. She's not even on social media. But when I was on there, it was a very tactical, calculated move of the photo I sent of Brittany and Riley. It's because, all right, my thought process is that it would be much harder because I knew I was up for blocking. I was like, maybe it will be much harder, and I took a risk to if I showed them the face of Brittany and her daughter. Like I did it to kind of tug at the heartstrings a little bit and say, hey, you're not
Yeah.
just blocking one person, you're blocking two people. And so I was hoping that would kind of play well, but it played terribly, and it was the nail in my coffin. But I don't regret it one bit because I was not about, and I was not about ever
Oh, Jesus.
anything that would even be considered even close. And I was like, that's why I put the picture of her looking sweet and innocent, holding the wine glass, because that's my baby. And so that's how I wanted her to be portrayed, and that's who she is. And so I was not about to do that. So, it's one of those things, hindsight's 2020. And so if I could have explained my gameplay to the contestants as I was doing it, like you can in these other shows, then they would have understood a little bit more what I was doing. But it is what it is.
So my question is now, let's say, because somebody did come in the house again, he had a second opportunity, but it came as a catfish. If it happened to you and it was like, hey, you left quick, fans, would you come back in the house? Because they are saying that. Another opportunity, then maybe next season or whatever. What would you come in as a catfish? Well, if they gave you the choice, maybe, I don't know, because he came in as a catfish. So you probably have to do a catfish again. I'm thinking, how would you do it?
So I would hope that the catfish would be more closely to who I am,
Okay.
as someone, as an older gentleman, would be a lot easier to be a catfish ass, because I wouldn't have to think about what I was saying. I would just be able to say it. You know what I'm saying? I would be able to be myself. And so it's a lot easier to communicate that. So I would absolutely be a catfish, no problem whatsoever. It would be a lot easier if he was a guy. Now, again, Jen has a really big advantage because they have a man and a woman. So they have the best of both worlds. You can see, you can get insight from both of them. So that's the perfect catfish coming in. She's older. She's not a threat to the younger girls. She's not, trying to take their man. She's just Auntie Jim.
Yep.
And you see how well that played. And I feel that if I would have been able to come in as myself, you'd have seen like Uncle Brian, Dad Brian, and they would have loved that as you would have seen. But it is what it is. But I would love to be a catfish and coming as again, because I've learned from my mistakes.
Right.
I would open up a lot more and a lot quicker. I thought I had a little more time. And one of the things I was waiting to do, because how in Survivor in the early stages, everybody's filling themselves out, but there's one person that messes up and comes in too hot and just does things. So I was waiting for someone to come in and make that fatal error, that fatal flaw, and for them to go after that. But they didn't do that. No one made that big error. No one said that while, like Tara Alicia and Savannah in season 2, where they were just coming in hot at each other, and they put focus on themselves, and they got rid of them immediately. And so that's what I was hoping someone would do, but no one made that error. These were skilled, excellent kids in there playing this game. And I quickly realized, as soon as I saw Chaz and Raven, I said to myself, I ain't got no chance to beat them. I don't. I couldn't beat them at their own game. I couldn't beat them at the fast, quick, witty things that they were coming up with. So I had to be just quiet, innocent Brittany that wasn't a threat, because as soon as you show that you're tactical, that you are playing the game, then that puts a target on your back. And so my thought process is that, hey, why would you get rid of Brittany? She's just quiet and, secret squirrel. And so I thought that would play well, but I guess that didn't play well because they thought I was hiding something, and then it quickly blew up that I was a catfish, and they knew that real quick. So I was the one who made a fatal flaw.
Well, oh my God, is there anything that you want to maybe spill? You spilled a lot. I ain't gonna lie. This was awesome. I loved how transparent you are. I do want to see you something else, because if this is the one that was in the house, I think you would be one of the finalists right now. I really firmly believe that, if you was, still in the house. So how do we feel now that it's about to be over? Are you rooting for anybody? I'm not trying to make you put in a bad light, like I'm rooting for my favorite person, but just being honest, are you rooting for anybody in particular, or is it just like,
you get close to everybody on the show, and I know with the editing, people have their favorites, but really, I really, really, truly enjoy every single person on the cast, and I do have a favorite or two, but I cannot say that who it is. But I do have a favorite or two that I wanted to win from the beginning, and I still want them to win. But I will have to keep that, locked up in here because I don't want to give any spoilers. But I do have some favorites, absolutely. But everybody's just wonderful for sure.
Okay, well, I understand, and I get that. Like I said, he's probably not gonna be able to answer that. It's gonna put me in a bad spot, so I don't want to do that anyway. But, um, you were really good on the show. I hope to see you on other reality TV shows. We'll be supporting you and everything you do after the fact. Because I'm pretty sure if you on Big Brother, oh my God, I'm gonna lose it. I really hope this
Listen,
happens.
listen, you're gonna see
I'm
a
tagging him in this. I'm
listen,
tagging him.
listen. You get me on Big Brother, you let Grandpa loose in Big Brother house. Woo! It's gonna be spicy in there. Let me tell you something. It's not gonna be the reserve Brittany. It's gonna be full Brian up in there. And another thing, when I was in that house, let me tell you, when I was in that circle house, it was hot. I don't know if you saw me sweating, but
I
it was
did.
hot, 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 hot. I mean, it was, and I keep my AC at 65. Like I'm a
Me
big dude.
too.
I don't
I
deal
get
well
hot
with
so
heat.
fast.
And
Yes.
so if I'm at 100% and they keep that AC down at 65, Grandpa gonna bust loose.
Not
And
100% in the AC.
woo,
Oh Jesus!
woo,
Not the air on, so we can.
I'm ready to go down. Give me to the
Oh my
casting
God.
website. Let's go,
I
baby.
ain't got to.
Woo.
I'm not fooling with you today. I wish we could start a barbecue. I'm gonna be posting about that once I get my stuff together today, because that I love that. That would have been freaking everything. I know you can't talk about it, but I want to ask so bad. Did they know about it? Can you tell me if they knew about it? The barbecue?
No, nobody. The barbecue did not get out. The barbecue was not
Dang, I
was
just want
not
to know if
put
they
out
know
there.
about it.
But
Okay.
that's what I was going to do. I wanted to do an homage to the cookout. I wanted to start the barbecue, but that just didn't take off. That didn't get feet.
Okay.
But one day, if you see me again, the barbecue. If you see me again, you know the barbecue's starting. So just be ready.
Look, like I said, I'm gonna get my stuff together. It will be a hashtag barbecue with your name once I get my clip together and post it and tag you in it, because I want Big Brother to see it and get you on Big Brother. So I'm gonna help you out with that much as I can. But I want to say it was a pleasure to have you on my channel. I enjoyed this interview. Your personality is awesome. Love your whole spirit. Okay. I appreciate everything that you've done to support me with this. And I know that Twitter can be a lot, but I'm happy you're getting a following on Instagram, because you are that. You are that one. You are that dad. You are the uncle, big brother, all those things in the bag of chips. And we're the same age anyway, so you know. So I hope to see you again on the show if something else comes up. Love to have you on here again. Maybe after the reunion, maybe we can talk about some things. But I am a Southern queen, queen of reality TV. Maybe one day y'all see me on the circle. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm gonna close the door because I'm a Southern girl. Thank you again, Brian, for coming on. I appreciate you. I'm gonna have all his links or anything he's supporting in the description once the live drops. With that being said, peace.